Hey everyone, I'm back to do my extremely belated September haul, which is basically my Canada haul with my book of the month on top of it. I am a little out of it today, and yeah, I'm a space cadet, and it happens. But I did get quite a few books when I was in Canada, and I got my book of the month, so this is my September haul. So far I have nothing to report for October, and it is October 19th, 18th, 19th, somewhere in there. So I'm doing really good on this whole not buying books since I got back thing. And so let's start at the start. I haven't taken it out of the plasticky thing. If you ever wondered, this is how they come when you get a book of the month. And I haven't really gotten many books of the month lately. I've been skipping a lot of months, mostly because there's been nothing that's really turned my crank. I've heard a lot of good things about this one. I figured I'd pick it up. It's a big old chunky bugger, almost 500 pages, and that is The Mermaid and Mrs. Hancock by Imogen Hermes Gower, which is about mermaids in 1785 London. Because apparently, that is what I do now. That is what I like now. And my garbage bag. Where's my garbage bag? Right here. There's always one hanging off my chair. I need to cut my bangs. They're driving me crazy. So, when I was in Canada, as we know, my main goal is to get things that are harder to get in the States, or things that are just released in Canada now, or when I was there and I could get them, etc., etc. So, one of the ones I grabbed this, oh, what's her name? I can see her in my head. Either way, one of the booktubers I watch, who's in Scotland, I believe, short, reddish hair, glasses. She has been reading a lot of Karen Slaughter and seems to really like her, and I liked the premise, so I picked up The Good Daughter, which is a mystery kind of deal. Gillian Flynn is blurbed on the back, and James Patterson is blurbed on the front. Not a big fan of James Patterson. Gillian Flynn, I liked Gone Girl and Sharp Objects. I did, however, not finish Dark Places because I didn't like it at all. So, yeah, 28 years ago, Charlotte and Samantha Quinn's happy small-town family life was torn apart by a terrifying attack on their home, which left their mother dead. It left their father, Pikeville's notorious defense attorney, devastated, and it left the family fractured beyond repair, consumed by secrets from that terrible night. 28 years later, the book happens. So, I figured it would be good. I picked it up. I thought I might end up reading it on my flight home, but then I ended up reading the next Wheel of Time book. 638 pages, so if I want to do this for one of my, big books a month. Emily Fox started it, and so I decided I was going to do it this year, and it's really helped me read more big books. I just surpassed my 52 books in a year, which was so I would average a book a week. So that means, and then I've done at least one 500-page book a month for so far this year, which has been awesome. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep going with that because it seems to be working for me. Then I picked up Clifford by Harold R. Johnson, and this is published by Nancy Press. It is semi-biographical, I believe. It's biographical with a mixture of a memoir, a fantasy, a fiction, a thought experiment. So in this, we find Harold going home to his reserve. His brother Clifford has passed away, and this story takes on residential school. Yes, and he sees a chair, and the chair is used as a metaphor for everything, and it's three-legged, but I'm looking forward to seeing how he deals with all of those issues. He has a work of nonfiction called Firewater that I also want to read. A lot of my friends have read it and said it's amazing. Firewater, How Alcohol is Killing My People and Yours. So, looking forward to this, and of course this would be harder to find here. Because you know, I get the native books when I'm there. I picked up Miriam Toews' Women Talking. Miriam Toews is Canadian. She's also a Mennonite, or she comes from Mennonite stock, as my friends would say. I have many Mennonite and lapsed Mennonite friends from Canada. So this one takes on, I believe, from what I've heard and understood, there is something happening to the women in this Mennonite community, and we learn about it through the eyes of the women who are talking and the women speaking and such. Yeah. I've read, I think, The Flying Troutmans and A Complicated Kindness. I have not read all of Miriam Toews, but lots of people love Miriam Toews, and I have never had a bad experience with Miriam Toews. So, interesting to see what happens with women talking and how she does that. I know that the Mennonite community can be iffy with some people. I picked up the shortlisted but did not win, however won the Giller Prize. Essie Idugan's Washington Black, which is, she's a Canadian, who from Vancouver, I believe, or is it Victoria? Where are you from? Victoria, British Columbia, with her children. And so this is about a slave. I don't know much more than that. It's about a slave in what time period? And there's traveling, but yeah. I picked it up mostly because she was a Canadian who was nominated for the Man Booker, and she won the Scotiabank Giller Prize. The Giller Prize can be hit or miss, I think, and ultimately, I've heard so many people say that they enjoyed this. She wrote Half-Blood Blues, which I have not read, but will probably pick up if I really like this. It also is a chunky monkey. It's over 400 pages. It's got deckled edges. I like this cover a lot. I think I like this cover more than the weird flying contraption. I saw this in a Walmart for 40% off, so I picked it up. It's Karen Slaughter's Pieces of Her, which is her new one, because I'm really into, I guess, mystery and thriller and stuff like that right now. And I have no idea what it's actually about. I would just be reading the back to you. I know that it is a mystery thriller, and I know that I paid half price for it, and that's why I wanted it. And quite frankly, sometimes I just need that kind of stuff in my life. Then, the last book I picked up, this came out right when I was there, I have heard a lot about it, is Split Tooth by Tanya Tagaq. Tanya Tagaq is a very famous Inuit throat singer from Nunavut. This is various stories from her childhood and imaginings and some folklore. It's got this gorgeous red pages. And whoop. Hold on. We had a full-scale fall down over here. That'll hold. So, various stories from Nunavut, from her childhood, also interwoven with some fairy tales and fairy stories from what I understand. It's not particularly large, but it's making its rounds in Canada, and I gotta support my Inuit friends, well, my Inuit family, I guess. And yeah, improvisational performer, avant-garde composer, experimental recording artist who won the 2014 Polaris Music Prize for her album Animism. Yeah, looking forward to this one. And that's everything I picked up in September. I don't know if it's going to get on the to-read pile. I know that Nonfiction November is coming up, and I do plan to do a lot of nonfiction then, so we'll see. And yeah. I'll be back with my October finished readings probably in a week or so. 2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks? And I'll just tack on my end of September because I only finished one more book at the end of September. I had such lofty ambitions, but they fell apart. So that is what you will see.